Have you ever wondered if there's a science behind your everyday choices? Well, there is. Today, we're going to break down the really elegant economic theory of how you decide. We're actually going to build a model of choice right from the ground up.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Your whole day, your whole life really, is just one long string of choices. Some are tiny, like what to grab for lunch. Others are massive, like deciding where to live or what job to take. It can seem messy, super personal, and maybe even a little chaotic.
And that right there is the fundamental puzzle for economics. How in the world do you create a scientific model for something as personal and unique as a choice? Turns out the answer they came up with is both incredibly powerful and surprisingly simple. Okay, let's just dive right into this. The very first step to building a model of choice is to figure out a way to map out what a person wants, what they desire. In economics, this map is called a preference relation. That's just a formal way of describing what you like. Now, to build any model, you need some ground rules. And it's so important to understand what economists mean when they use the word rational. It doesn't mean you're smart or logical in the way we use it every day. Nope. It's a technical term for a set of three simple principles that just make sure our model is consistent and doesn't fall apart. So rule number one is called completeness, and it's super simple. If I put any two options in front of you, let's say an apple and a banana, the model just assumes you're not going to be totally stumped. You can always make a comparison. You know if you prefer the apple or the banana, or if you're perfectly happy with either one. Second, we have transitivity. This just means your preferences have to be consistent. They can't run in circles. So if you like tacos more than coffee, and you like coffee more than a salad, then it has to follow that you like tacos more than a salad. This little rule prevents us from getting stuck in an endless loop of indecision. And the third rule is monotonicity, which honestly is just a fancy way of saying more is better. All other things being equal, if I offered you 2 tacos or 3 tacos, you're going to take the 3 tacos, right? We'd all rather have more of a good thing than less of it. So, if your preferences follow these 3 simple rules, if they're complete, transitive, and monotonic, then we can do something really powerful. We can represent them with math using something called a utility function. It's just a way of assigning a numerical score to every possible option, where a higher score means you like it more. Simple as that. So, for example, let's say we assign a score of 150 to a specific choice, like 2 tacos and a coffee. Now, that number, 150, it's totally arbitrary. It doesn't mean 150 units of happiness or anything like that. The only thing that actually matters is its rank. A score of 150 is better than a score of 100, and that is all the model cares about. And this gets to a really key idea. As one of the foundational economics textbooks puts it, utility is ordinal. The best way to think about it is like a race. We care about who came in first, second, and third. We don't really care about how many seconds faster the winner was. It's all about the order of your preferences, not how intense those feelings are. Okay, so let's get to the second part of this puzzle. Because, knowing what we want is one thing, but we can't always have it, can we? Our desires have to come face to face with the cold, hard reality of the real world. We all have limits, right? Limits on our time, our energy, and, for this model, our money. In economics, this limit is called the budget set. It's basically just all the different combinations of things that you can actually afford, given their prices and how much money you have. Let's make this super concrete. Imagine you've got a $20 lunch budget. Tacos cost $5 and coffee costs $3. So you could spend all your money and get 4 tacos. Or maybe you get 2 tacos and 3 coffees, which would be $19. But you absolutely cannot afford 5 tacos. That's $25. All of those possible affordable combos, that's your budget set.
So here's the crucial point. Your budget creates what you can think of as a wall of affordability. You can choose anything right on that wall, spending every last penny, or anything inside it, but you can't choose anything outside that wall. Your final decision has to come from this group of affordable options.
All right, so now we have the 2 key pieces of our model. On one hand, you've got your preferences, all nicely ranked by utility, and on the other, you've got your budget, which tells you what you can actually buy. It's time to put them together. This brings us to the moment of truth, the choice itself. And the process is really logical. You know your preferences, ranked by utility. You know your budget, which shows you everything you can afford. So the rational choice is to simply pick the affordable option that has the highest utility score. That's it. Think of it this way. Your best, most optimal choice is that one special combination of things that gives you the most satisfaction possible, right up to the very edge of your budget. It's the perfect meeting point of what you desire and what's actually possible. This all sounds really neat and tidy, doesn't it? But, here's the most important question of all. Is this elegant model just some theory stuck in a textbook, or can it actually predict how we behave in the real world?
Well, the way we test it is by looking at what people actually do. This is a cool idea called revealed preference, and it's simple. Actions speak louder than words. The things you choose reveal what you truly prefer.
This leads to a consistency check with a wild name, the weak axiom of revealed preference, or WARP. It sounds way more complex than it is. It just says your choices shouldn't contradict themselves. For instance, if you pick tacos over coffee when you could have had either, you've revealed your preference. So we should never see you pick coffee on another day when those same tacos were also an option. Your choices have to be consistent. And here is the big payoff. When we look out at the world and see that people's choices are, for the most part, pretty consistent, that they generally follow this rule, then this whole logical framework gives us something incredibly powerful. It allows us to derive the law of demand. This is a cornerstone of all of modern economics. It's the simple but really profound idea that when the price of something goes up, people will generally buy less of it. So this little model of one person's choice suddenly scales up to explain how entire markets work.
So why does any of this matter? I mean, this isn't just some abstract exercise for academics. This model is the fundamental engine for understanding markets. It helps governments and businesses predict how we'll react to price changes, how a new tax might change our behavior, or what the impact of a big trade deal could be. It all starts with this simple theory of choice. So we have this beautiful, elegant model. It's built on the simple idea of rational choice, and it explains so much about our economic world. But it all hinges on one big, provocative question. Are we really that rational? And that is a question for another time.